and was getting off of the trucks, actually getting off of the day-to-day business of servicing the business.
Welcome to Punch Shack, ladies and gentlemen.
He's glad that I made the switch.
Hold on. How do you feel right now? How do you feel?
Got to be one of the funnest things to do in the city.
It's hard to do when you're in your bubble of your neighborhood or your local area.
Let's go!
So back-to-back kiddos, your wife didn't have much break time.
Not what I would advise.
My good worm attempt for the actual date tonight.
Understanding that this is real lifing, like we both wake up and don't see each other all day and go to work and then barely see each other and then we're tired and we go to bed, like, whoa.
Way to finish winning. I was really banking on getting all those free moving letters, but whatever, I'll keep paying for it.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the MovingLetters.AI Podcast. We're right here at a beautiful warehouse getting ready to put on our first ever episode for you guys. We have a super awesome guest today, and I'm also here with my co-host,
Zach Baz. Ladies and gentlemen, it's nice to see everyone, and welcome to the Moving Letters AI Podcast here in beautiful Denver. Thank you for the introduction.
Yes, and we're here joined today by our guest. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi there. My name is Joe Pucci, owner of Choice Moving Company, located in Fort Collins, with an office here in Denver as well.
Joe is also a client of ours and a great guy. It's really cool to be here with you, Joe. When I met you, Joe, you actually let me in on a piece of information that you are from my hometown and where I currently live, San Diego, California.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about just being out here in Fort Collins and just really kind of making that transition and Yeah, I miss
San Diego, so shout out to family still out there and friends. That's where I did high school, and then I came out to Fort Collins for college at CSU, and I loved it there. I already knew my wife, who happened to go to the same college as me. I was.
You used to surf out there too, right?
Surfed out in San Diego.
Nice.
My brother's still out there and surfs every day, and so we try to visit as frequently as possible. And almost all of our family trips have to do with a beach and a surf break. So it you can't ever really put it away. You always kind of want to go back and visit, and I try to. But living out here is cheaper. It's very enjoyable, and we love Fort Collins where we live, and we've got a good life up there. So.
It's freaking beautiful out here. I'm almost considering this my second home. So yeah.
Keep visiting.
For sure. So Joe, we're here today in Joe's, warehouse here in Denver, which is awesome because he also does a lot of staging. And so we have this here with like a whole setup that we kind of put together, which was super awesome for him to host us here. Why don't you talk a little bit about kind of what you're doing, as a moving company owner and like with the staging stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So the staging business here, it's 10,000 square foot warehouse filled with furniture, deco, stuff like that. It's for the company's business name is All About Staging and Design. My parents started this business about 9 years ago, and my mom is, the main designer, main owner, and has grown it into kind of all the space. They started in our garage and in overflow and storage units, and every stager out there can relate to that kind of a story. And they needed warehouse and slow growth from there. And then, my moving business was started 10 years ago, and we, helped them with doing all their deliveries and all their installs initially. And so we kind of had a good relationship growing together. And then, it, has been really advantageous as we grew in Fort Collins, and it was obvious we're going to Denver all the time. We really needed a second location down here to service the metro area and kind of avoid a lot of the inefficiencies of traveling back and forth an hour and 20 minutes. And with traffic, it kept getting longer.
Yeah.
We operate and share the space. I cooperate and help run things for the staging business, and the two have kind of a nice harmonious relationship. They help build referrals together. They, help with overlap of kind of different services that come up. So it's been great.
That's
really
awesome,
helped us a lot. Yeah.
It's really helped us crash your warehouse to put up a podcast because we've created this jungle behind us.
We can set up whatever kind of room, studio set. Yeah.
It's gorgeous, man. It's really great.
Coming soon. He's going to have a little studio set up where people can come record podcasts. It's probably a business now.
Come get your headshots done.
Definitely. The sky's the limit.
Oh, for sure. So Joe, I love your logo. Tell
Thank
me
you.
who made the logo, and what's the backstory of that?
Yeah, so shout out to my older brother, Johnny Pucci.
Go,
Johnny!
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 Yeah, he lives
JP.
in San Diego, and he is an artist, always has been. And right off the get-go in 2015, I was like, I want to leave the business I'm working for. I got a corporate job in finance right out of school, and I did 10 months of that and was just over it and wasn't happy. So I had told him I want to leave. I want to start a moving company. I knew how to run one. I did it in college for a different person in town and that kind of thing. And he was very much like, yeah, let's get you a good logo. Let's do something cool. Like what kind of name? What kind of Fort Collins is the Choice City. That's like its slogan. So there's, Choice Dental, Choice Butchery, Choice Vision, Choice this, Choice Towing, Choice that. And people kind of recognize that as an established in-town business. And at 23 years old, starting a business, having no idea what to name it or do you start with an A to be at the alphabet? Like you're all over the place. So I just wanted to have some kind of hometown representation right off the get-go, make people feel a little bit of like trust, like we've been in the neighborhood, and 10 years later we're happy to have stuck around and be able to say that we are confidently. And so that's where the logo came from, that's where the name came from. And then after a quick search, nobody else was named Choice Moving, so we were like, let's go for it.
So you could kind of say that you made a choice
decision. The
choice
back of our
choice.
core, the right choice for your next move.
I think so.
We place it anywhere we can.
Yeah.
You can add that to your bill of lading if you want to.
Yeah.
You made the choice. That's just fun.
Yeah.
That's great, man. It looks great.
So Joe, you kind of said about the finance thing. I know like that song recently came out where I need a man in finance.
I'm looking for a man in finance. Trust fund. 6'5", blue eyes.
You know what I mean? Tell me your wife.
What song is that?
You ever heard this?
No.
Tell me your wife is saying this to you, right?
I have
Like,
heard it in the car, yeah.
Yeah, she needed a man in finance.
Yeah, but she's glad that I made the switch.
Yeah.
Because at the time, we both were like a little shocked. I think, I don't know if it was like imposter syndrome or just kind of like understanding that this is real lifing. Like we both wake up and don't see each other all day and go to work and then barely see each other and then we're tired and we go to bed. Like, whoa. So I think she's as happy as I am that we went the route of risk that we did and started a business, and it's grown to a place where like we see each other every day. We spend time every day. We have 2 little girls, and time home and time with my family has always been as big, if not like a bigger influence to the balance that I'm trying to achieve, more so than like the growth or the revenue we're trying to achieve. Like everybody's got the numbers, the KPIs, the metrics they want. Mine have always been weighed really heavy on family and on time. And, having the 2 little kids, you're like, this is a time you really have to, maybe I'll sacrifice a little bit when they're 14, 15, but, 3, 4, 5, you want to be there for that. You need to be there for that. So,
100%. So how old are they now?
about 2.5 and 1.5. Yeah. One she'll be 3 in December. And then the other will be 2 in March.
Wow.
Prime time age.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Prime time.
We don't sleep. Life is crazy. My house is always a mess, but we love it. It's wild. It's
that's
a lot of
amazing.
good memories.
So back-to-back kiddos,
Yeah.
your wife didn't have much break time.
Not what I would advise for everyone, but there's some initial cons that you face pretty much right away where you're like, this is hard. One always needs to be held. One's always trying to run away. A lot of crying. But like I said, having 2 girls this close in age, there's like really something special. It's like almost not for us, it's for them. They're like built-in best friends. The little one wants to do everything the older one wants to do. And now, after not even that long of a difficult period, things are getting considerably easier and more fun. And that's, I'm hoping is going to be the trend till we hit like 10 or 12. We'll see.
Oh, for sure, man.
Back to hard. Yeah, back to real hard. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm a girl dad too, man. It's a lot of work. Never a dull moment, man. I think last night she was screaming. We bought her a brand new book. She goes, throws it down the stairs and it like rips and falls apart. And she's freaking out. And it's like, well, why'd you throw it down the stairs? But these are kids for you, man. It's like the little crazy stuff that they do.
Oh, yeah.
Big thing is, so Joe, tell me, you're a big golfer, aren't you?
I wouldn't say a big golfer, which would imply I'm a good golfer.
Yeah.
I like to golf. My GM likes golfing a lot. We look for opportunities with the business to co-sponsor golf events and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So we definitely enjoy getting out there and hitting the golf ball and enjoying a beautiful view
put.
and hanging out. Yeah,
We enjoy it.
But I really try hard not to like get wrapped up in being a good golfer because I'll always remain a frustrated golfer if that's my goal. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, well put. I mean, I think golf is one of those games where if you can find that balance of just not, God bless my dad for not following what I'm about to say, but literally just have a good time. You don't always have to shoot your best score. Literally just out there with the boys.
Yeah, I'm product of a competitive golf dad as well. So I learned that
gosh.
like I really want to enjoy being out here more than I want to be competitive about being out here.
Playing with him and my brother, they're like sticks. They're like really, really
Sure.
good golfers, and it's like sometimes not even fun because like it's just so serious in the competition.
Sure.
What's so great about the moving industry is almost everybody golfs, and so wherever you go, you can kind of chat it up with them about where they played, probably end up playing with them at a conference or something. So
Sure.
it's one of those lifelong games that I don't think you have to stress about being so good, but just having a good
Yeah,
time.
golf should be. It depends on what your purpose is in the rounds or in that game, but like for me, it's an enjoyable day, networking and hanging out with people more than it is a level of getting serious and competitive because I'm not a top tier golfer. So
Joe, are you
never gonna
like
make it.
actually just making this up? Are you going to be a professional golfer by age 45? Is that your next venture?
Yeah, I would love to downplay it that way and then spring that on you, but I will not. I promise.
We got to play. What's the best course in Fort Collins, you think, or one of the nicer ones?
I don't know. There's a couple that are private, and then Collindale's a public one that's fun because you can always get on and it's affordable. Golfing in general, I feel like it's a bit more affordable up there, but not like the nicest courses. So kind of got to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton in
There's a
basically
ton.
this vicinity.
Yeah.
Right? Like Denver.
Yeah. There's no shortage of nice clubs or of nice courses. Yeah. Like I said, just kind of depends on how much time and money you're out there dedicating, and we like to try to typically use those days off to get in an event. We turn it into a business day.
That's fair.
When you can load up the calendar with golfing events that are double down as a business
Yeah,
event.
that's fair. I think if you're going to go out and shoot 115, I mean, not saying you do, but
Sure.
it's better than. It's more likely you're going to go pay $30 than $250
Right.
to play
Yeah,
around.
yeah. If there's a lot of money on the line, then I'll try to let my GM be the one who's.
I'll go to the
I'm like,
range first before we play.
Yeah, I'll bag boy this time. I'm gonna, yeah.
That's funny, man.
I'll handle the cart. So,
Yeah, no, that's great.
So, finance, once again, sorry to bring this up, like finance to moving, like what is that moment where it's like, do you think this, like what was the big inspiration of like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for it, babe.
I think like definitely kind of having some experience in it. So knowing what the barriers to entry were and kind of what was involved in the startup and everything and looking at that as very achievable. So then it felt like a real thing in my mind, like, okay, you could do this. Then it was kind of the cost benefit analysis and risk that you're going to weigh of like, do you want to spend time trying to grow something like that and this and that, and no one really knows how that goes. You get told from other entrepreneurs and you hear from other examples, but you don't really know what you're going to get into till you start getting into it. And so I think once just deciding that out of a desire to not do the job I was doing was like not going to get work, like quitting from here, I don't have too much to lose. I'm still young. I still have opportunities that if after a little while of moving doesn't work out, I can still go get another job like this, if that's what it comes to kind of thing. So I just got comfortable with the level of risk and was like, yeah, this has a high probability of working out. So I thought about it relatively logically. I feel like there was some emotionality at first, but again, pretty quickly just kind of not really noticing that my competition was like low where we are in Fort Collins. It's very high, but just the industry in general, there's a lot of people who do okay providing very bad service. So I didn't feel like the bar was low and I'm going to come in there and crush it, but I knew right away, like, okay, I'm, educated and I've done this job and I've done this role and I've seen how there's gaps and what people actually need in the service, and I think I could just do it better than even where I came from. And that kind of mentality really pushed me to kind of like, well, if they can do it, you can do it. And what do you have to lose? You're young, go for it. And all those culminated into just doing it.
For sure.
I got a question for you, Joe. So, us being an AI company, and then also, with AI just being rapidly infiltrated into everything, I think about me not being a mover or ever being a movie, but working as a vendor in the moving industry. What do you feel AI could take away from moving companies themselves in terms of competition in the near future? This has obviously been a huge topic of discussion, so I like to get everyone's, we work with a lot of movers, I like to get their take on it. What do you feel might be able to, or might take away a little bit from a moving company from an AI standpoint? Like actual robots moving furniture, or like,
I know what you're saying. What's the
real
scary or awesome future of AI
there
implementation
you go.
into
That's a good way to put it.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, I guess depending on your outlook, it could be scary or it could be awesome. I assume our industry will take the things that are awesome and benefit from it, using AI in ways that maybe are cost saving or a bit more efficient for certain platforms, I think is going to be tremendously helpful and already is. We see it with the letters. We see it with, different automated sales scripts or chatbots that kind of help the nuance of navigating communication. But I think there's some limitation between like where an LLM or an AI is going to get you for either your content or whatever. You're eventually going to lose a little bit of your voice and your personality if you're a business that only operates like that. Yeah. Right? There's some authenticity to a human that you probably won't get the interface with an AI.
Definitely.
So will it help with sales? Probably help with sales. Will people only be calling an AI salesman that'll do the virtual, everything and quote you and everything? Hard to imagine at a great ability, at least right now. And then as far as like, will robots be moving your stuff? Probably not anytime soon.
Are robots going to haggle over the price of a job? Like, what? No, and it's not going to work for me. Or like, what's that going to do?
You just get a loan, buy a few robots and call it good. Like I said, it'll be a pivot if that happens. I would hate to lose, the humanity in our movers and go to robots. But I also think we're a long way away from a robot handling the nuance that is moving, because it's not just like pick something up, place it on conveyor belt or drop it in truck. There's a lot of, understanding what fragile is and understanding the emotionality of a client on a stressful day and reading the room and, so.
Big time.
I think that there's going to be a space where it grows. I just don't, I don't know if all moving companies will embrace it, and I don't know if all clients will. So there will probably be a successful moving owner out there who has robotic movers and AI sales, this and that, and he's successful and his clients think it's the coolest novelty. That will probably be a thing. But there's probably going to be a lot who just use what's good about it, what's helpful, and then, I mean, so.
Fair. That's fair.
I don't know.
No, that's fair. And thank you for that.
Sure.
Yeah. So, Joe, one of the things with like marketing and kind of a little bit about what we do and what we try to encourage our clients to be is very, very like omnipresent with kind of all their avenues. And I've noticed with you, not only just like having great reviews, obviously you're doing some direct mail and some other stuff, but like social media. I saw the other day you had this video, and I think you said something about your wife having to fill in.
Yeah.
Did you like hire an actress and then she didn't show? What happened with that?
Well, we did kind of have a plan for we're essentially just shooting a small little video that showcased what it was like to have an in-home estimate. We schedule lots and lots of in-home estimates because it's a better booking ratio and it's also more accurate, and you get that FaceTime with clients and help build that branding that's a little bit better than an AI or a robot or a call center or whatever. We often tell people like, we're not the ones to move you to Florida, and we also aren't a big corporate like gimmicky entity. We are literally local. If we don't have a call center, if you call and complain, it's coming to me. If you call and want to leave a review, I'll send it, so that all those things just kind of made it one of those. We had to showcase what we do for in-home estimates. We had a female actress who was going to be there and then couldn't, and so I called my wife. I said, "How quickly can you run over to this house? We need your help." And full disclosure, the house was my mother-in-law's, so we had lots of family participating on helping get this thing look like a really great in-home service, and my wife did a great job.
For sure. I thought so too, man.
Thank you.
So who films for something like that? Do you got like a videographer up there that you guys are using, or
Yeah,
what
yeah.
does that look like?
Shout out to Boxwood Studios in Fort Collins. Yeah, one of the owners, Matt, there, he's a great dude, and they've built up a large photo studio business there. They do a lot of like real estate photography.
Oh.
And they've kind of started to branch out and do other formats for businesses and for, whatever it is, sports teams, headshots, all kinds of stuff. They're kind of just taking on more size and scope. So, I literally just presented it. And he's such a great guy. He always wants everything to be like, because he's got a good marketing mind. So he was like, you need to go satirical. You need to be funny. You need to be engaging. Like, you want to wear an outfit. You want to show up in a chicken suit. I'm like, okay, hold on. Hold on. I also have to actually showcase what I'm doing and, show up on move day in chicken suit or something. So it was a fine balance of figuring out, what would showcase kind of what to actually expect, but still representing that we're not a tight corporate entity where you're local movers.
Oh, for sure. So I've noticed in your marketing, like real professional photos. When you finally got professional photos on like your Google business profile and some of your websites and things, like, did you see a massive ROI just from that? Because I pitch it to movers all the time, like the power of professional photography.
Yeah. I think trackable ROI might be a little bit harder, but a definite acknowledgement in instantaneous branding. Like your branding just looks better. People get a larger sense of security when they look up things and they see it like looking really good, because it kind of feels like, well, if that looks like it has the funding behind it, then you probably had the funding behind it. And you probably are putting in investment if you got it because you're running your business well. Like all those things usually add up logically and they're probably accurate. So yeah, once you kind of have the ability to spend a little investment in professional photos or a little videography or anything like that, it goes a long way, and it's tremendously helpful. I think just building that trust and confidence that you're a legit business. And again, like we've all seen ones that are kind of high quality, but are still very stock video-ish or stock photo-ish. And it comes off like, I don't know if you're a call center out of New York or whatever. And so, again, just trying to stay in your lane of who your audience is and who your potential clients are, and think about, what are they either going to be entertained by or what's going to be informational enough for them to keep watching it. And we kind of try to do a little bit of both. Maybe slightly entertaining, throw some facts at you that might help, and hopefully all that's enough for you to remember us or call us, or when somebody brings it up and you go, oh yeah, I've seen your trucks around town, or I've seen your video on social media. Definitely after the photos and videos, social media leads went up a lot. We got a lot more leads just from, I saw you on social media, saw you on Instagram. Like I never saw you on Instagram when it was just bad iPhone photos of us like carrying something sweaty. Everyone, looks hot. Hate to be a mover. Like, thanks. But then you do a nice video that's got some production behind it, and people go, I really like your video. You look like a nice business. Your business is doing well. You're like, it's the same as last year, but thank you.
Branding is everything.
It's a lot. Yeah. It just builds trust.
You can sleep better at night when you're happy with your branding for your company.
Sure.
You know?
So, like 5 years ago, kind of Joe, like what is some of the things that you think you've done that like just kind of turned that light switch on, where it was like, these are big pivotal moments or shifts in your business to like today? Yeah,
for sure. One for sure. Cause I did start relatively young. At 23, started the business, and I had a, decent, like education, but not really any good mentorship, and especially not in the space. I left a business owner who was not a mentor. He was an absentee business owner saying, run my business, drop off the checks at my house.
Yeah.
So then to go from that is my boss to now he's my competitor, there was no mentorship. And I just didn't have any way to foster that. So there was a lot of, I think, doing what I thought was productive in the early years that I should have been really making bigger jumps. And a lot of that, the biggest one for sure, was getting off of the trucks, actually getting off of the day-to-day business of servicing the business, and recognizing that like my job to grow the business is to bring on talent and train them up to a level that I'm comfortable that they do the work. There's not going to be any problem, and there's going to be just as much, if not a better experience than what I had to offer. Because I'll I have no ego involved in it. Like I've had many movers come in that I'm like, you're way better than I am. Like, wow, what a cool way to learn how to wrap this thing, because like I learned in the industry, but you learn up to what you're taught. And so then I got to a point and I go, I'm good. I'm a good mover. I don't get many complaints.
Yeah.
Someone comes in and shows you I'm faster, I'm better, I'll wrap this better. And you're like, okay, will you train all my guys? So getting off the trucks was huge. And then just starting to kind of develop a network of people that you can look at as mentors, or you can look at as even just peers in the space, and you can bounce ideas off of and have clear lines of communication that are effective and are helpful. And it not only relieves a little toll knowing like other people are dealing with the same stuff, the same issues, and going through the same headaches, and this is how they handled it, but also just navigating, like I think we had talked about it earlier, that, I didn't really know what the business owner of $1 million moving company looked like. I didn't know what he looked like a $5 million business or a $10 million until I actually started to meet some of these guys, find out you run a $5 million business. Wow. How many locations? That many? How many trucks? Good God. Okay. You get into it and you realize that just like the initial fire that got me into think, well, if that guy could do it, I could do it. It's the same kind of vibe. Well, he's been doing it for 15 years. It's 5 years longer than me. And he went here and he had issues at $1 million too. Okay. Yeah, we could probably do that. And it gives you the kind of the hunger to continue in what is not always a super loving industry.
Yeah.
I think it's easy for moving company owners to get burnt out. You can make decent money and there are some real staircases to it. If you're going to work every move and it's you and your brother or you and a buddy on a truck and you make $250,000 with one truck, like, okay, for some people that's enough to call it. Like, I'm content. This is great. I'll stay busy. Me and my brother will split all these jobs, make great salary or income, but just depends on what your goals are. And my goals have kind of changed as they've been enlightened to other people's circumstances and kind of realistic expectations and kind of understanding the patience involved. Like we've talked about, the patience involved in getting to a point and grinding it out and then dealing with whatever bottleneck is at that new point, and just the staircases to success.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, as a marketing company, I'll ask, when I meet a mover, like, are you looking to grow? Because a lot of movers are like, no, I can't even handle the stuff that's coming in.
Totally.
So that's again, interesting to hear everybody where they're at, what they want to do, if they're happy with one truck and two dudes and making $250K a year.
Yeah.
Or are they trying to get to that couple mil, decent sized warehouse, a little bit of a fleet. So some people are content with just doing that. And then some people, they want to push on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we alluded to it earlier too. You never know what's under the hood of a company, how healthy or not healthy. And, sometimes you can't just take what's on the outside or what the revenue number is or anything like that to know what somebody's really making or how they're doing or what they value. So everybody's got a different reason for running the business the way they are.
Everyone makes a choice.
It's a choice.
Sorry, word. I just want to say
it's the right choice to figure it out. I think that's where, as an owner, you have to do that self-discovery, and it might change as you're owning and as the environment changes. I think it's going to change for a lot of business owners as we're going into already our second summer that's harder than it used to be, going into what's probably a faster coming winter that's going to be harder than most people realize. Just my prediction. But again...
Which is also really fun to hear people's predictions about what's coming up and seriously what's going on in this country and everything else,
Sure. Well, I mean, and again, like all I can really do is kind of forecast based off of trends and then try to think logically. And like, it always slows down during election seasons. It always slows down in winter. And then it always slows down in a correlated slowing housing market. And we happen to be going into all three of those things.
Rate cuts, maybe not rate cuts.
Right. Well, and if rate cuts come down, if rates come down and people start going out there and buying again, like that will see movement increase. But, there's other issues in the real estate market. I think that on a nationwide basis, they look similar, and then on a state by state and city by city, they're definitely different. So it depends on your market.
I think that's one thing that we have a lot of fun with is seeing, all of our clients across the country, which markets are working better with our direct mail for them, and just that whole enigma of that whole situation of why is it not working in this city, and why is it going crazy over here, or what product is working better.
Yeah, you get a good bird's eye view of kind of the national health of moving and of volume and of sales and everything. That's cool. That's definitely, again, it's hard to do when you're in your bubble of your neighborhood or your local area or your state, and you don't really network with an owner on the East Coast or know what's going on in California or understand how Texas movers are doing. So it's important data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is big time. You had brought up kind of like election season, and I just want to ask this question and just see what you're thinking. Are you going to schedule jobs the day after the election?
Oh, that's a great question. I'll have to ask my GM with that one. I don't think we've really thought as far as to is anyone going to show up or not show up? Who will be the end of the country
For work
or
or like
Yeah, I mean, the reason why is because
worst case scenario.
we schedule.
Got a plane schedule just in case. I've got.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because like we
shelter.
we scheduled the move the day after the election, and this last one, and one of my guys shows up, and she's just a wretched, you know what. Just terrible experience. And, this guy's been with me for years, like through it all since almost day one. And he calls me and he's like, hey, dude, I can't do this move. We got to go. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I've never even asked you this or told you this in these 14 or whatever, 13 years I've been with you. We're leaving. And I'm like,
wow.
Okay, man, you know what? That's cool. And so we just had to take off, dude. And it's so funny. I assume they probably voted for the same person. Regardless, it's like, I don't know, man. So we're now going to go on the rule of caution.
We're going to see some drama.
Yeah, day of election,
drama.
Day after election, no moving jobs. I'm going to give the guys the day off. Like, go vote, do what you want to do.
Right.
I just think like that's the best thing that I can do as a business owner is like think about that way. I'm not sure if it's the right thing, but that's why I was curious what you were going to do, Joe.
Sure. No, yeah. It's you bring up a good point that we'll have to have a meeting with on next Monday because we've yet to really talk about that. We always have those kind of quarterly overviews of like what holidays coming up. Is that Monday going to be problematic? This and that for scheduling issues. But the election day after the election, I haven't thought of yet. So
yep.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I'll
That's
put it
future.
On the to-dos.
Yeah. Future. But like, let's think. I asked you about like that 5 year ago kind of Joe and some of those pivotal moments.
Yeah.
And we've asked you a little bit about AI, but like 5 year Joe, where do you think kind of like this whole thing is and where do you think you're at? I mean, obviously at that point, your kids are 7, 6 almost years old, right?
Right.
So, second grade, first grade.
5 years from now, I'll still have 2 little kids. So I got to consider that.
Yeah.
But realistically, the plan and the idea and the hopeful growth pattern for Choice is continue the steady growth we've had. We've never been a company that's been able to get on and brag about getting to $5 million in 3 years or anything like that. And for those of them out there doing that, that's awesome. I admire the hell out of that. We've just had a good, slow and steady growth platform. We don't get into a lot of debt before being able to, fully deal with it and everything else. So I think we'll probably continue to do the same thing. We've been pretty insulated from negative downturns as they've kind of come up, including these last 2 slower seasons and stuff. Again, we've kind of continued to experience growth just at smaller multiples. And I really think Denver is going to be the location that starts to grow at a faster catalyst and probably outpaces Fort Collins just because of the demand. The overall population is the biggest reason. And just there's a lot of movement in the Denver and metro area with the millions of people you are able to service in a close proximity versus the hundreds of thousands. So again, operating about 5 to 7 trucks is really all we're interested in Fort Collins. Right now we're doing 6, and that's probably about where we'll stay. We might even actually relinquish a truck coming into this slow season and size down to 5. Right now here is going to be 2. We probably anticipate in the next 5 years room to grow to 5, 6, 7 trucks here easily. I mean, there's a capacity in Denver to run a 10 to 15 to 20 truck business in this type of a city. So,
how many moving companies would you guys say are in the Denver area, give or take?
I really couldn't even say with accuracy. If you're talking like legit insured ones
20
versus fly-by-night ones versus like the main key players.
How about legit insured?
I mean, there's at least 50.
Really?
At least 50.
Okay.
Yeah, who have a decent GMB and a good online and are out here doing it. And, I'd probably say at least 25 making high 7 figures. There's some real big. I mean, Colorado in general on national trends, it's a big moving state.
Sure.
There's higher net worth demographics here than a lot of places, and so moving is not a cheap service either. It costs a lot to pay people in Colorado. Insurance is crazy in Colorado, so for that reason, when I talk about moving numbers with other owners across the country, we tend to be in right up there with all the other major cities you think of for I bet moving's expensive there. We're not moving 30 floors in New York with no elevator, but I don't know how those guys do it. but you know what I mean? It's just you have to rise to the level of service of the demographics you're dealing with. And Colorado's got high-end demographics, high-end places, high-end homes, high-end neighborhoods, and we really try to find our niche in that market share.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, so we got to get going, boys. We're going to the Putt Shack. We're going to have a little bit of fun here this afternoon. But
the Putt Shack could be the mandatory day after the election.
Ooh,
which
there
you
we
all
go.
will see.
Yeah, we'll check that out.
Not a bad idea.
So, big thing is, hey, Joe, we really appreciate you obviously being on our first ever episode of the Moving Letters AI podcast. Obviously, it's super exciting to finally kind of put a name to a face there. And do this whole bit. So obviously we really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, let's go, Joe.
Well, thank you.
Good to see you, man.
You guys.
For sure.
It was a lot of fun.
Let's go.
It was a lot of fun having both you guys here, and thanks for setting this whole thing up and giving me the opportunity and the platform.
Good times.
Awesome,
Good times.
man. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Hey, everyone. It's Matt from Moving Letters AI. I'm super excited to announce our newest product, the Simple Note. The Simple Note is an extremely simple, handwritten product to get you into more homes at an affordable rate. Right now, you can get 500 of these to targeted newly listed homes for only $8.95. Guys, check out the link down below. Sign up today and join the handwritten revolution. Let's go.